station, WTIM.
Welcome in to the WTIM information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, bringing you your WTIM morning show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. Now I'm sitting down with a couple of the master gardeners. We're waiting on one, but we got Kathy Knope with us right now. How you doing today, Kathy?
I'm doing great. It's a good day to be a gardener. I mean, it's cool. You can go out, you can weed. There's always weeding to be done when you're a gardener. Always. And there are a lot of things in the garden that you can do this time of year in July. It's, of course, if you have vegetables, they're out and they're growing, you can pick them. You could deadhead your flowers. You can go ahead and you can actually, do some successive planting of like beans and stuff like that, because some of the beans are called bush beans and they die out. So then you can go and replant them, and carrots and some other things. So it's, we're still in the season. So
yeah, this is the season. We talked a little bit about it before. Haven't experienced a lot of precipitation, so it's keeping you even a little bit more busy during the summer months here. And you mentioned deadheading flowers. What does that mean?
Okay, deadheading is when the flowers they bloom, and then after they bloom, they die off a little bit. But if you cut them back, you actually can have more blossoms that way. So when they start dying off, cut them back. Even my petunias, I'll cut like a third of them off, even down to where, besides the blossoms, because then they'll branch out and be more bushy. So you have a more fuller container, because I keep mine in containers. So, and a lot of the plants will do that, bush out and branch out if you cut them back a little bit. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So a little bit of an investment there into that plan. You take care of it, more blooms.
Yeah. And I always choose everybody. I say, well, I talk to them and I say, now you be a good plant and you grow for me and don't die in the drought. So yeah.
There you go. You're asking a lot of these plants here with a little precipitation recently. Now we've been hearing all the agriculture news on this station, but with a personal garden or with yours, what have you been experiencing lately?
Well, I had a few Japanese beetles, which is very bad because they eat everything. And they got to my zinnias a little bit, but zinnias are like a warm weather plant and they're really hardy. So if you kill zinnias, well, you might have a brown thumb. No offense to anybody, but you might have a brown thumb. But what I really like and what I'm trying to get into are called native plants. Now, native plants are plants that are in this area for a long time, and they originated in this area, like central Illinois. So they're like the butterfly weed, the milkweed. Of course, we've always heard about that because that was the monarchs. But there are other nice, beautiful natives that are around. Like I have a catch fly, which is a red flower that has a little cup in it, and the hummingbirds like that. So people like hummingbirds a lot. So that's really attracting, and the red too. Hummingbirds like red. So
you mentioned the Japanese beetle, which you can point them out. If you don't know what it is, I bet you've seen one. For the listeners out there, they have a weird color on their back. It's kind of like an oil slick type color, a little rainbowy, and they're menacing to just about everything. What do they do?
And what they do is they'll eat the leaf, but it look like a skeleton because they don't eat the vein, they eat like the leaf itself. So it's sort of weird. And then to me, I pick them off because if there's not too many, but they raise their back legs up like a defense. Like, oh, you can't get me. And I said, yes, I can. And I put them in a water with Dawn to drown them. I said, okay. Ha, got you. No.
That's the solution. The
Dawn
water.
Solution for a gardener.
Okay. That's
I like to go organic. I don't like to use pesticides because you kill the beneficial insects besides, the insects that you want to kill. And also I don't use anything, any chemicals. So yeah, that helps.
It seems like that would be hard to do. I feel like the chemicals, it's an easy spray to make sure nothing gets in, but you don't want nothing in. You want those healthy insects. What are those healthy insects?
Oh, well, for one thing, like the ladybugs. Ladybugs are great. I mean, they call them the soldier beetle. They suck the juice out of aphids. So, hey, you could go ahead and do all you want with that, and the ladybugs eat aphids too, and they'll eat, some of the other things that harm, you know, that harm your garden. So, it's good to have them, and it's a natural pesticide. You don't have to worry about that. And I don't use any weed barriers, because if you mulch, like put a cardboard down and then put mulch on top, it'll smother the weeds and you won't for the whole season. So you don't have to worry about, weeding all the time.
Well,
So it works.
That's
Works.
important. Yeah, absolutely. And now you're getting into more native plants, you said. We learned about this in one of my classes, that they do a controlled burn over areas to get rid of invasive species. But a lot of times, aren't these invasive species like the first to pop up, and they compete for that sunlight? So you're really trying to get back to the native plants.
Yeah, native plants. And they have an Illinois program now that if you look along the highway, they will have some native plants that IDOT and stuff have planted along there. So they're really getting into it. And prairie restoration is the way that they're going. And like you said, they do the burn off, but the burn off is actually beneficial to native plants, because some of the native plants will not seed and reseed unless they have that fire. So yeah, it's sort of unique for native plants. So
yeah, you see, like on the side of highways or even roads, just places where they're trying to fill in areas with plants. It's those invasive species that tend to pop up first. So getting back to the native plants there, it could really be special there.
Yeah, they could be very special there, but the invasives, like Japanese honeysuckle and all that kind of stuff, your Russian olives, and there's a lot more. But they will. What they do is, like in the Bradford pears that I have, that like the birds will eat the seed and then spread it, and then the natives will pop up in colonies, like, and just destroy the whole ecology of the whole forest or wherever you want, things to go. So it's really bad to have them. And like I said, natives, they are very hardy, because one time I had to have some work done and they plowed over my native garden, and I thought, well, they're not going to come up. Next year, they came up fine. So yeah, their root system is very deep. So that's another reason why natives last.
Okay. So that's making more sense. The native roots go a little bit deeper than some of the more superficial invasive. They kind of pop up fast, but they're easily killed by the controlled burns.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. We're learning a lot here. I like to hear this. Yeah, I was a big fisherman growing up, and all around the ponds, it was just all types of plants that didn't seem right. They were the burr type plants, and I come to find out they were mostly invasive species of plants. And how would you go about replanting right after that controlled burn? You just go in with seeds of native plants, spread them around?
Yeah. A lot of times to start, they'll have they'll take off the and do some like grading and stuff, but they'll also use some seeds, and they'll just go by like seeding, and if they're first starting out, and they can reseed again. But actually, if you get a good native plant start, they will reseed by themselves. So once you get it started, and it takes about 3 to 5 years before they're actually going to be a good native garden. And when you do that and get them started, they'll be okay. You don't have to take care of them. You don't have to mulch them. You don't have to water them, because they're native. So it's really awesome.
So it takes a few years of investment in there, but once you've hit that point, you've got yourself some native plants. And for those looking to get some more native plants in their own garden, what kind would you recommend for them?
Well, of course, everybody should. Milkweed's awesome. I love milkweed. And there are so many. I have Joe Pyeweed, but Joe Pyeweed is, you have to have a large area, because it can grow up to 6 feet tall. So, but it's purple flowers, and there's the cone flowers. Cone flowers are really pretty. I like those a lot as a flower. And those are just a few. I'm a part of the Native Plant Society, and they always have a sale in May too, and they have a lot more recommendations that I'd never heard of some of them. But yeah, they have, like, another one that I think is interesting, besides the catch fly, which is real interesting, is wild petunias. So they even have wild petunias that you can actually grow. So, So it's whatever taste you have. And if you have a small garden, it doesn't matter. You could still have natives in that small area. So
Perfect. You said you were part of the Native Plant Society. People can go to that website. We can plug that later.
Yeah.
On for all information on native plants.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. We are going to take our first quick little break here on the WTIM morning show. Sitting down with Kathy Knope. She's one of the master gardeners. It's been a great conversation so far. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the WTIM information station.
Your information station, WTIM. Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, bringing you your WTIM morning show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. Now we're sitting down with one of the master gardeners, Kathy Knope, and we've talked all this time about gardening in the summer, native plants, and how to keep your garden just flourishing this summer. So we're here with Miss Knope, and she does her own container garden. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, container garden is what it says. You get a container of, and it depends on the plant, and you plant it in. I use some good quality potting soil that has a lot of nutrients in it, a lot of fertilizer when I first start. And since I'm an organic gardener, I use organic that has like fish stuff in it and worm castings and all that. And believe me, you want that outside because the fish emulsion it's powerful. Trust me. And I use that kind of you can get that, at any kind of grocery like even a big box stores have, the organic stuff. And I use that and I put it in there. And then like even tomatoes, I have my tomatoes in a big 20-gallon pot, and I put them in there and I stake them at the very beginning. And then I use cloth, which is just a new inventive thing that they have out for containers, and is supposed to let the roots breathe. Now, I don't know what the theory is behind that, but my tomatoes do okay in that. Whatever. So, and also I grow peppers in there, and I have my herb garden in there too. I'm a big fan of herbs. That I love to cook with herbs, so I have a bunch of herbs in there, and they grew quite well, in that area. If you put, like, I have a container now. This is really something unique. Like if I have herbs, I'll put like Italian herbs in one, and then I'll put herbs for another category in another container, so that I say, this is Italian herbs, so I'll put this for Italian, and I'll do this for this one. So that's a general, like herb or something. But yeah, it's just a fun thing to do and something different. And you could dry out the herbs. You can, of course, you use them in cooking all the time because if they're fresh and they really taste pretty good in cooking. And getting back to the other stuff that you can use, you can actually plant zinnias. You can plant marigolds. I mean, you could plant lots of things if you determine the size of your container. The main thing is decide the container, how big you want the container, and also drainage, because you don't want root rot on you. Because it doesn't drain well. So, that's the main thing, drainage and good potting soil. And I always start with plants because I don't have luck with seeds. That's just me. So I get good quality plants, and they do fine with me.
So that's really cool. You also mentioned that you're not bending over anymore for gardening. Gardening can be pretty taxing on the body. So you're able to put these containers up on a table. You're able to set it however you want it.
Yeah, wherever you want to. Just remember that if you have a table or something like that, you want to make sure that it is, waterproof or something, because because it has to drain. So you want to make sure when you're watering and stuff that you have a table or something that you can keep it on. And you can just have them wherever you want to. Even if you live in an apartment and you have a balcony, you can grow the tomatoes, peppers, whatever, in a container, because they're outside and you can just have them whenever you want to. Pick them out, and cook them. So it's really easy. So yeah, containers are really awesome. And like I said, you don't have to bend over, because when you get older, like I am, it's really a plus.
Totally. And you just mentioned another big plus there. Maybe if you don't have a backyard, you live in an apartment, you got a porch. If you got sunlight, you can set these up in your windowsill. You can get a little container. What material are you making the container out of? I've seen people like use maybe the bottom of like a jug or some kind. Are you buying those? You can just pretty much make whatever you want.
You can make whatever you want. You can use whatever material. Like the key is, like I said, drainage, good potting soil. Because you have to have nutrients for the plants, and of course the drainage is because you don't want root rot or anything else to happen with the plants. So I've seen all sorts of weird, containers, but hey, what works. Now with me, I use the plastic containers only because they're cheap. And I thought, hey, cheap, and you can grow something in it, and you can use them from year to year to year to year. You just wash them out, and then you have them, and you don't have to worry about buying any other for a while. So that works for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is going to make it easy on a lot of people that want to maybe get started on their first garden. Maybe you don't have to dig into the ground. You don't got to use any of your property space. You can use a container. That's exciting. We got just about a minute left here. Where can people go for some more information?
I would go to the University of Illinois Extension .org, and you can get all the information you want from there. Also, for if you have any questions about native plants, the Illinois Native Plant Society has a page up, and we're in this central Illinois area, so they have a site in there, and they meet in Springfield, so every month. So they have some very fascinating information.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, Ms. Knope, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Mhm.
All right. That was Kathy Knope. She is one of the master gardeners. She's with the Native Plant Society. She's doing great things for the agriculture community and doing everything she can to go out there and plant. And we've learned all about it today. Thank you all so much for listening to the WTIM Morning Show. We will be back with more in just a little bit.
Your information station, WTIM.